Hey, what's up? I'm John. This is my garage. What we have here is a Nissan Datsun Maxima. Yeah, it's my car. I've had it for about 2 years. Haven't done anything to it. Just drove it. You know, it's running, or was running and driving. Nothing wrong with it. But I decided to pull the engine and gearbox out for things and stuff. What's up, everybody? My name's John. This is my garage. What I'm working on today is my 84 Datsun Nissan Maxima. As you can see, I've ripped the engine and gearbox out of it. It was running and driving. I've had the car for about 2 years. I got it out of Sacramento. One owner car kind of deal. Thing is just a cream puff. It's got some little issues here and there, cosmetic stuff. It's been sun faded, and the sun's kind of destroyed some of the interior, just a little bit of the interior, just a small amount. But really, truthfully, the body's really in good shape. There's hardly any rust anywhere. The interior is actually in really good shape, other than the stuff that I've recently removed for other little side quests. We'll get into that later. So I pulled the engine and gearbox out because I have the plan of putting one of those in there. Doesn't matter, 4.8, 5.3, 6 liter, 6.2, doesn't matter. This is getting an LS. At some point in the future, LS power plant. Currently, what I need to do, as you can see, I've already kind of started marking things off of what I'm not going to need in the engine bay anymore. So pretty much anything engine related, powertrain related is getting pulled out. So those harnesses will be pulled out and separated from anything. The idea is to separate powertrain from chassis. So that way, whenever the LS is in there, if there's an issue, something with the power plant, some kind of weird wiring gremlin or whatever, I'll know that I can separate it and say, hey, it's going to be in this harness somewhere. Or if it's a chassis issue, then I'll know it's something to do with the 40-year-old wiring in there. Which, mind you, everything worked on the car before I started ripping everything apart. So for today, I need to continue and finish locating what needs to stay, what needs to go, marking all of that. I need to pull the power steering pump out, drain all of that, because I haven't done that yet. And then after that, what do I do next? Oh yeah. Once everything's figured out and situated, then I will start kind of, pulling the harness out, getting the engine bay kind of stripped away from everything that I don't need in here. Cruise control thing and all the little vacuum switches and just all the nonsense that I'm not going to need. Just kind of get stuff out of the way, get the engine bay cleaned up a little bit. I need to get this thing up on jack stands and prep for removing the subframes, front and rear. All the suspension's coming out from underneath it, subframes, everything. The plan is, overall goal is LS power plant. I'm probably going to go with an AR5 gearbox out of a Pontiac Solstice, just because it's a 5-speed gearbox. It's based off of the it escapes me what the damn name of it is. The R154 Toyota gearbox, which historically pretty good gearbox. A lot of Marlin crawler parts and stuff like that, and there's a lot of good bits that can be put into an AR5. So anyways, LS power plant, AR5 gearbox, S13 front and rear suspension. So subframes getting swapped out. I've got that stuff right here, and then I've got all of the suspension components and stuff. So control arms, axles, spindles, 5-lug hubs, all that good stuff. The issue that I see moving forward is that the factory track width between this car and an S13 is, the S13 is 2 inches wider overall. So we're going to have an inch more of track width on either side of the car. So that's going to make wheels and tires a little interesting later on, but that's a future John problem. For right now, just need to kind of get everything prepped and ready for to strip it all down, basically, and yeah, just blank the canvas and go from there. The Maxima is not my only vehicle that I have. I do have a Fiesta ST that I drive daily. Nothing's really done to it. I've got a full exhaust on it, and it's got some really crappy cheap wheels that came with the car. They roll, they're round, they hold tires, so that's really all that matters. And then we've also, my cousin and I, we also like to do lemons, 24 hours of lemons. We've raced a few times with a couple of other teams, and we really enjoy it, so we decided that we were going to try to build our own car. Well, I say try, we have built our own car. And that is right out here. What this is a 1980 or an 81 Volvo 242. This thing was imported from Germany back in the 80s. We found some paperwork whenever this thing had interior in it from the import paperwork from the guy who was in the Navy who had it imported. Yeah, so the car, as you can see, is sitting out here in the street, which is fantastic. While I had it covered, somebody decided to smash into it, and of course, they didn't leave their information or anything, so I just have to deal with that. But race car, not a big deal. Yeah, it sucks, but luckily the lights still work and everything, and it's not really a big problem. Oh, come on. Ornery Swede. Yeah, this car, we did a painless harness from like a Chevrolet, just a quick, easy thing, so that way we have lights and all that good stuff, fans, fan controls. Yeah, just a bunch of cheap gauges. It's a Lemons car, so nothing really too expensive for that stuff. Full cage by Powers and local guy. We've got this car has poly bushings all the way around, and come on, there we go. Poly bushings all the way around. It's got Bilstein shocks, which definitely need to be replaced. Come on. And some lowering springs, even though you can't really tell. Power plant, B230 FT, eBay turbo T3 T4 hybrid thing. It's kind of, it's got IPD turbo cam in it. Thing was rebuilt years ago, and it hasn't really had any miles put on it to speak of. Big radiator, big intercooler, that kind of stuff. Just the things to make sure that this stays happy. It's still on factory Bosch management, which is awful. Absolutely hate it, but we're too cheap to try and do any kind of aftermarket management. And also, again, it's a Lemons car. Who cares? If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out. More than likely at the track, but is what it is. Yeah, we're definitely going to stay with the Mustang wheels, just because if they get destroyed, who cares? These are coming off, and more than likely will end up on the Maxima. So these are the current projects. We've got another car that we'll probably be showing footage of. It'll be my cousin's drift car whenever he gets that back from the cage shop. We've got a lot of stuff ahead of us on that, and yeah, that's going to be a big build. And a lot's going to happen pretty quick. So it's time for me to quit talking and get started on this thing.